Technoblade changed YouTube forever, man, and I've waited a while to make this video, not because of a lack of motivation, but because, well, for what feels like the first time on YouTube, I didn't fully have the words for what I wanted to say. Technoblade's passing was devastating, and I wanted to make something in his memory, and, well, I tried, but it didn't feel like enough. I needed time to sit down, to collect my thoughts, and really make sure I had something meaningful to say before just saying something. So that's what this video is. A tribute to Technoblade, a tribute to the man who, through insane skill, dry humor, and downright kindness behind a facade of apathy, changed not just my life, but the lives of millions. But hey, listening to me ramble isn't what you came here for, and I don't think just reminiscing does justice to the amount of impact that Techno had, and is still having, honestly. So let's take a look together, shall we, at just what made Techno as special as he is. And I think it all starts with rewatchability. You see, saying Techno is cool because of his personality is an easy way out. You just say, okay, he was a cool guy, and that's it, case closed. But it goes much deeper than that. There's this subtle quality, some sort of undefinable trait that separates funny from, funny and I watch it every 3 weeks, which first of all is a stupid definition, but second, gives us something to look at. Now, although Minecraft was what Techno's channel was about, he actually drew inspiration from a lot of YouTubers that are legendary and still on the platform, not only for how he grew as a person.
Hey guys, I'd just like to preface this video with an explanation of what goes on because when I am concentrated, I don't talk at all.
But also for his humor. I mean, look at this side-by-side I noticed a few months ago from Techno's Hypixel Skyblock video and a Dark Souls video by game reviewer Video Game Donkey.
Are you f***ing kidding me? Thank you, Dark Souls.
And he put -5 intelligence on it. Thank you, Hypixel. Very cool.
I'll take my reward. And of course. Thank you, Dark Souls.
So I don't see how I could possibly... They can shoot laser beams out of their face! Thank you, Hypixel.
What I'm trying to say here is that Techno felt incredibly unique and different to us in the Minecraft community when all we had been exposed to was his style, his type of humor. But one of the main reasons his videos or his stuff was so interesting to watch was because he'd take the best bits of all of YouTube, he'd learn and grow and apply the stuff he was watching other creators do and put his own spin on it and curate the best of his online experience, add his own flair and put it into his own videos. Now, don't get it twisted, Techno had a lot of his own ideas and was an amazing creator in his own right. But this also leads me quite clearly onto the next thing that honestly, I haven't seen talked about enough. Techno, although acting apathetic and nonchalant at times, worked harder than most even acknowledged, despite his upload schedule being what it was. Even though it looked like he didn't care, those who were closest to Techno describe him as one of the most caring, kind, and dedicated individuals that they knew, that Techno was always amongst the first to make them feel heard and needed. I mean, according to Phil, if Techno thought you were cool and chill during the SMP Earth era, he would move heaven and earth to befriend you, which is how we even ended up with Techno on SMP Earth. It wasn't in front of the camera, but he was always striving to be kind, and I mean, it's not like he was slacking off on camera either. Forgetting even the obvious examples here, like the whole potato war thing. Do you guys remember MCC7 Build Mart?
Everyone in the chat saying, no, it's Build Mart, we're gonna lose. Little do they know.
People are going to be so confused if we do well in this.
We are going to break Build Mart records right now, okay? I have prepared for Build Mart, you fools. You think this is bad for us? No.
Alright, we're on the board, boys!
We got one.
Good, nice. Okay, good. Gold.
I had
Oh, Jesus Christ, that's so scary.
And... First... No, 8th. Never mind.
And this is about to be... This is about to be... Oh, yeah, I got it. What's next? I need a... Yeah, I got 8. Plugs anyway?
So I can't make it in time.
First...
Alright. Let's go!
First
Build Mart, boys.
place in Build Mart chat. So the other day, Wilbur was like, hey, you spend a lot of time going back and forth between builds. Wouldn't it be better if you just got like a bunch of every block and then just made all the builds in a row? And I was like, that's viable, but the problem is there's too many blocks. I was thinking we can make this even dumber. So last night, I spent 6 hours reviewing the VOD of every Build Mart that has ever been played and identified the 26 possible builds that we have to make, noted every material needed for all of those builds, organized them by section, and then had everyone get every item you would need. I did not get a lot of sleep yesterday. This is what it takes to win Build Mart!
What I'm trying to get at here is that not only was Techno willing to legitimately just put in the hours when he believed in something, he was also extremely smart. Like, apart from the English major that, according to Twitter, single-handedly carried the Dream SMB's plot for a while.
There was a time on SMP Earth where I was like, okay, the server's dying. I feel like I could save it, but that would take so much work. I'm not gonna do that. Whereas for Dream SMP, it's like, if this server starts going downhill, I am absolutely putting up the effort to keep it up.
Yeah. It's just a different vibe, I think.
Techno had incredible game sense and creativity in high-pressure situations, and he used his top-level skill to enable the goofy-ass plans that only he could come up with. It's like combining the analytical brain of someone like H-Bomb with the sheer mechanical skill of someone like Fruitberries, and you aren't just adding them together, you're using the two to enhance each other into this Giga Chad player who can make stupidly complicated plans which require insane levels of skill and then actually do them. And the thing is, right, these plans were so absurdly whack and creative that the skill required to successfully pull them off made Techno seem invincible. It fed into this meme that he could do no wrong, made it funnier when he failed, and just that much more hype when he won, especially with moments like him managing to kill a fully armored Quackity who had weapons and everything with nothing more than a pickaxe.
I just have one question, Quackity.
What do you have?
Do you think you're enough to kill me, even unarmed, with iron armor? Do you really think you can take me?
I do. You know what? We'll find out, you son of a... No! Now you're fucking building, no!
Psych!
You,
get out of here! Get out of here!
Oh, now you have to
get out of here! I have a pickaxe, and I'll put it through your teeth! I'll put it through your teeth, Quackity!
Yeah, I know it is.
Even forgetting just in-game smarts, I've actually made a short about this before, but Techno's smarts as a creator went pretty unnoticed, especially for how obvious they were. Like, if you take away blood for the blood god, Techno's literal main catchphrase was subscribe to Technoblade. Like, that was the meme. It wasn't a cringe call to action. The community wasn't clicking off and rolling their eyes when he said it, because that was the joke, but it also just, you know, it works. Like, saying subscribe gets people to subscribe no matter how much of a joke it is. Making it a meme just, you know, cements it into the culture. And really, really importantly, it makes it a highlight in a lot of memorable moments. Like, look at this one.
Techno is, there's something going on. It's like you see the little cogs turning. Oh, you press the emoji button.
Hello. Hey.
Is there a reason, Techno?
Guys. Okay, I deafened by accident. But guys, you need to listen to what I'm about to tell you.
Okay.
Subscribe to Technoblade.
Alright, get him off.
Everyone go to that, go to Kick Players, go.
That is all.
That is not cool, bro.
It's fine, Tomo. If we vote for Techno,
I had to say it. I had to say it. I had to do that at least once.
What the fuck?
He didn't want to be a bad.
What the fuck?
Which, apart from being funny, brings me to the point that Techno wasn't always in these like Among Us lobbies or taking part in You Laugh You Loses with just random streamers. When he took part, it always felt like he made sure he could add something to the stream, whether that be jokes or vibes or just being a straight man for someone else's crazy antics, but there was always a purpose. It was never him adding himself in for the sake of more impressions or whatever. You get the sense that he really cared about what he made and how he added to other people's streams and their art, if you will. So even though he might have done grindy streams for his own channel, he was considerate enough to know that that energy wasn't enough for being on someone else's channel. And also, like, yeah, the man was goddamn hilarious. Even on stream, not just in planned out videos, because I think with his literal years of iterating and looking at other creators and learning from his content and uploading and streaming, Techno's commentary grew a lot. His ability to tell stories, his ability to make jokes. Yeah, he had a natural knack for the thing, but there's definitely a huge improvement that he made over the years thanks to his dedication to the craft. No pun intended. Okay. Getting a bit personal here though, I watched a video near the start of my YouTube channel where this random guy said to write down 3 goals on a piece of paper, personal goals that you would use to motivate all the work you put into the entire channel. Now, looking back, one of those 3 goals, one of the only things I wanted out of YouTube, what I wrote down at the start, the whole reason I did all of this, one of them was to meet Techno. And believe it or not, somehow I did. Now, I didn't get to talk to the man, unfortunately, but I've been editing Tommy Innit videos for a while now, and before the start of one of them, I managed to work up the courage to say hi. Now, obviously, at the time, everyone else was much more concentrated on the actual video, but when I tell you that this was one of the most insanely fulfilling experiences of my life, I have no other words in which to put it. I'm also really mad because instead of documenting it, all I have is this stupid ass screenshot, which I edited and then deleted the original of. I cherish this a lot, however mad I am about the screenshot, and I have not forgiven myself since, but all this is to say, maybe my judgment was a bit clouded and like rose-tinted glasses because, oh my god, I'm meeting my hero. But even when the cameras were off, even when there wasn't an obligation to be in the Technoblade persona, the man was hilarious. He was making people laugh left and right with the same absurd humor you see in his videos. He's the closest I've ever seen to people just not having a separate persona for YouTube. It felt like he just was who he seemed to be in his videos. I mean, Techno's dad also made a Reddit post recently where Techno told his father, completely non-content related, that he was Technoblade. That's who he felt like he was most. The energy Techno brought to videos also wasn't just from yelling or spectacle, it was from his actions. I genuinely believe that you could pretend like he was just talking to a group of people in every video, which makes everything feel that much more real. Or to put it a different way,
it's the difference between talking to the audience and talking to the viewer.
And Techno was talking to the viewer. I've talked a lot about quote-unquote realness before, but because Techno's whole thing felt so authentic and, not excuse the pun, hammed up, it was both more approachable to more people and it was much more consistent. It felt like a look into an actual personality, not some shallow facade that you optimize for clicks. What this also meant was that although the humor was there, because of how interspersed it was, because of how real it felt, when things don't feel serious, that's when the tonal shift from haha funny to an actual genuine heartfelt comment hits that much harder. It's why after being conditioned to expect sarcasm and dry quips constantly, it feels like the intro to his Hypixel Skyblock video hits that much harder. It's different, so you sit up and take notice, but your guard is also down, which means that the message is allowed to properly ring true and hit home. And not to make people's jokes boring or anything, but I've seen too many posts about how Techno's upload schedule will never be good again and whatever to not talk about this, but like looking back, especially with the experience I've gained now, it is so easy to just churn out meaningless drivel on a daily basis. Videos with absolutely no creative thought or emotion behind them. Mr. Beast, as much as I respect him for who he is as creator and what he's done and pushing boundaries and all that stuff, was there an idea or like a message being conveyed in reacting to world's richest people? Like, I'm not saying that everyone needs to make videos that are deep and moving and emotional always, of course not, I wouldn't live up to my own standards then, but if I could make the ideal creator, I'd pick quality over quantity every single time. And especially later on when Techno clearly started to put more effort into his videos, there always felt like there was a core message to be told, a core emotion the video was trying to portray, whether it was one of friendship and cunning, or challenge and nervousness, or, well, hope, starting a series in your darkest hour. And to just forget the structure of the video for a second, can we talk about how perfect the boar is as a representation of Techno? Maybe it was symbolism that Techno himself stumbled into. Maybe we as an audience kind of thrust it upon him. But the strength and wisdom he showed, well, that's pretty boar-like. And as for stubbornness, it takes a great deal of courage to look death in the eyes and not lose your calm. It takes a great deal more courage and stubbornness, though, to look death in the eyes, spit in its face, and say, screw you, I'm using you to make money for cancer research. Techno was, and he still is, one of my heroes, and it hurts, you know? It hurts to know we're never going to hear another starting the stream, never going to hear blood for the blood god, or see another dumbass way for him to say subscribe to Technoblade. But I think the message that Techno had, the impact that he had on, well, all of us, from taking the time to credit artists even in Minecraft to his unbridled and unending kindness and strength, I think that by constantly growing and learning, by fighting for the causes he believed in, and by keeping the memory of, well, at least one of my biggest heroes alive, I think that if we can do that, if we can learn from his message and his actions and keep his memory alive, then the saying will still be true. Technoblade never dies.
Getting bored of Walls 2. Welcome guys to episode of Bed Wars. Today we're playing the new game mode. October 2013. Saw the game and I thought, oh my god,
One of us.
So many
One of us.
OP kits, but I guess the second worst thing that has happened to these orphans in their lives. Every game, dominating winter all day long. Everybody's kit's the same. Oh, that poor man. So damn strong, but hey, I can't survive. I get better ping here. And to the hive, teams and hackers everywhere, but nobody plays Blitz to be fair. So I'll keep on playing and get for sick. More fast but stupid. And I will call it
Blood for the blood god.
College just gets added with a level 5 stone sword. Keep going with a single dream that one day I'll be lead reports. Gonna join another map, but I know it's all in vain. Trying to earn some coins.
First, Tommy in second.
You fools!
You fools! You messed with the wrong man! 1v3! 1v3! We win these!
Tell the rest of the SMP that, having abolished all governments of men, I have ascended to heaven to take on the kingdom of God. Technoblade.
I have your fish, and I hate to say it to you, but there's one thing I have that you'll never ever ever have.
I
have the blade.
I'm gonna hear this game will never be the same.
I, the puppeteer, dance! Potato boy, dance!
Because of my bar, but it was the first of many. My firearmor and
1,000! I'm an atheist, but when God sends me to hell, I want him to hesitate, okay? I want him to hesitate for a few seconds. Watch me dance, Squid Kid, you lose! You lose the war! Not even close, baby! Technoblade never dies! Technoblade never dies! Never
Now that rank number 1 isn't an achievement, it's a prison, which forces you to dedicate your life to defending a temporary title. But now, with the war finally over, I'm free. That's just the game.